Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Bedford County Live. I'm David Thomas. Next to me is Mr. Bo Gill.
Yes.
We're here to talk about what you guys want to talk about tonight, but we have a few things that we're going to talk about to start with and let you chime in and give us your opinion on. Bo, this time last week we were sitting knee deep in snow, and now it's gone, and it's still a little cool. We had a little warm spell. It's cooled off. And now, from what I understand, the next week is going to be kind of calm, sunshiny days, maybe a sprinkle here and there, cool, but up in the 50s a couple days.
So. Yeah, we're gonna have a good few days. You know, the snow, then the rain, the warm temperatures, then the cold. Hey, we're in Bedford County. It's Bedford County weather. You're going to see a lot of seasons in 1 week.
Yeah,
that's just the way it is.
That's the way it goes. Just wait a few minutes. If you don't like it,
that's
it'll
what
change.
They say.
But from what I understand, the mid-February, first part of February, which is cranking up this next week, probably from about the 5th to the 20th of February, all indications are winter's going to come back and hit us a little bit. So there's chances that we're going to have some opportunities for more snowfalls. Yeah. And there were flurries in Bell Buckle earlier today. Yes, Emily, that's what I heard. I heard it got white for just a little bit there, and then it faded on away.
Yeah.
But we want to thank everybody for joining us tonight, and we also want to thank our sponsors, Lowry Jewelers, out on North Main Street, Norris Plumbing. They're available 24/7. And Dennis Young Insurance, out off on Main Street.
Three
His
great local companies.
931-680-1011 for all your insurance needs. And if you need diamonds, from what I understand, Billy Lowry's got a sale
Billy's
going.
got diamonds. At Lowry Jewelers, they got the diamonds. They got the gold. They got the silver.
They got the silver. And they're having a sale right now on all that stuff.
So. That's right. Valentine's Day is getting close.
Yep.
It's
they're celebrating Valentine's with a sale. 30% off all diamonds, gemstones, and gold, and 25% off all silver. So that's a pretty good deal.
Give them a call, guys.
And Bo, there's one thing we were talking about earlier on the show earlier tonight about Norris Plumbing. And you know what makes a good plumber?
What's that?
Availability.
It's exactly right.
They're available 24/7. That's something you will not see every plumber get out and do.
That's right. There's nothing worse than a leak that you're seeing an active leak and no plumber to come on site. So that is very good, and that's what Norris and Plumbing will do for you. So contact them.
Yeah, got rave reviews. Well, Bo, let's talk a little bit about some stuff that's going on. I want to talk and share about an event that I had witnessed on Saturday, and I put it on Shelbyville now. The Phillips family honored our local fire department here in Shelbyville over on Lane Parkway. They went to Fire Hall Number 1, is what it used to be called. I don't know what they call it now, but it's on Lane Parkway there, and they commemorated a bad memory, but a good memory at the same time. The Phillips family had a fire in their home. I think it was on January 20th, 1984. This is their 40th year anniversary, where Mark Phillips, he was 14 at the time, and Phil Phillips II was 2 years old at the time, and they were both unconscious. And 3 of our firefighters from Shelbyville Police Department came in and saved their life, basically. And Phil, the 2-year-old at the time, was not breathing, and a fireman gave him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. To make a long story short, they both survived. And they wanted to celebrate that 40th anniversary by going and honoring our current fire department here in Shelbyville. And I got to watch that. And Bo, after all that, those firemen that were there present for that celebration, they got to eat some barbecue, but they had a lot of handshakes, a lot of smiles, a lot of reliving some events over the years. We are in good hands, Bo.
We're in very good hands with those guys. And Chief Matt Doak, he couldn't think about any finer people here in Shelbyville and Bedford County. And it really shows you a lot to see how, even though those individual firefighters weren't there that day, how many generations that it touches.
Yeah.
These guys weren't even firefighters that they were there thinking, but it's all one pack, and they're just
there was a
together.
lot of unique ties though. Johnny King was one of the firemen that was there. His grandson was on duty, following his granddad's footsteps, working for Shelbyville Fire Department, and that was kind of a unique tie to see that. But it just goes to show the type of people that we have in the city and the county that work for our police department, our fire department, our EMS, all these different guys that are out there busting their tails on a day-to-day basis. So hats off to all of them.
They really
city
are.
and county.
They really are just a commendable job all the time. They're always there for us. Thank you guys. We appreciate what you do, and the Phillips family. Hey, that's an awesome thing to do to thank them for that many years later. Very well done. That's who we are here.
Yeah. Well, Mark Phillips called me back about 5 or 6 weeks ago and said, we're going to do this and we want you to cover it. And it was an honor just to be asked to do that and get to see that. And
Definitely.
to see that bond that they still have with Shelbyville Police Department after all these years.
That's great.
But that was unique to see. And I know, Bo, you've got...
Thank an officer. Always thank an officer.
Yeah,
thank a firefighter.
Hey, and when you see them in a restaurant, go pick up their towel.
Yeah, that's right.
If they're in there eating, pick up their towel.
And don't just pick it up and put it down. Pick it up and pay for it.
That's
we know
it,
something.
That's it. All right, Bo, I know you talked before we got on the air here. You were talking about an event over at Celebration. Yeah. What's going on? When's that?
Oh, it's rodeo turn, and it's February. The rodeo is in Bedford County in Shelbyville at the Cooper Still Arena. It is going to be February the 2nd and 3rd, so that's this weekend. Showtime, I think, is around 6 p.m., but check the website for that. They have all those listings. You can go to the Walking Horse Celebration website, or just go to the rodeo, call them up. But hey, I don't say we always go, but we try to attend the rodeo when it comes in town. There's not a lot of entertainment going on in Shelbyville, but when there is, it's always good to go out and support. Hey, some of the tax dollars are being built there. Warren Wells with the celebration is getting these events here, so let's go support them. And who knows, maybe we can get some bigger events to come along. They're improving the Cooper Still Arena so much now, and they put a lot of money and effort into it. It would be a good chance to come out and see that. But let's make it a community event and go out to the rodeo. If you don't have anything to do, that's February the 2nd and 3rd, Cooper Still Arena.
Emily just came up and said, yeah, go check out the new renovations inside so far. I noticed the other day they were pouring a new sidewalk out front of Cooper Still Arena. I keep wanting to say Calsonic.
I know it.
It's old habit.
It is.
It's going to be neat when they get this whole thing fixed up. I know they still have a lot of work planned. I'm looking forward to how that's going to turn out.
It already looks like a new building just about. The fences around there, the whole deal. You can just see with what they're doing with because the Calsonics, they're year round, I would say, revenue maker. So I see that they will go to the arena next and make upgrades, because they're really putting some love in it. It's good to know that a hometown company has put that much that much confidence into the celebration and partnership with them. And we're just thankful for the Cooper the Cooper family, and the celebration here. Regardless, it's got a big history here in Shelbyville, and it's important to a lot of us, even if we don't participate. Just people like me that just like to go. So come out to the rodeo, and in one way or other, you're supporting Shelbyville.
All right, let's talk about, Bo, back up, and let's talk about the snow and some of the things that we talked about in the special edition. We had a water issue take place over in Bell Buckle War Trace, also in Flat Creek. There was a lot of issues with our water system, and I think what's happened, Bo, is we have had a highlight of what we have to deal with going forward as we grow. Now, right. And when I say grow, I mean pile more people into Bedford County. Okay,
it's a growing pain scenario is what it is.
I still don't call that growth, but we're getting a lot of people. All right, growth is a broader definition,
right. Just like representatives and leaders.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. There's a lot of difference. But you look at this situation, Bo, and you being on the city planning commission, does it bother you that we have these issues with our current population? And then knowing that our population is going to increase and put more strain in it, how does that concern you?
It does. It concerns me. It does. I don't think that anybody in the town doesn't help but to think that it is concerning and that it's going to affect them. The way that it does is that what we've got here, it's obviously getting dated, and it's getting so much pull and so many people on it that it's starting to run its economic or its useful remaining life. And I would love to see the expansion of the infrastructure. You hear a lot of talk about the expansion, and I know that work is going on, but still, when you see these types of issues, when the system is put at its hardest and its biggest capacity, like these snowstorms, and it doesn't quite live up to it. Now, not in all cases. A lot of people had water; it was fine, but I would say that their mindset is that anybody that doesn't have water is a failure, because their goal and what they do is to provide this service. So I would say that it is very concerning. I wouldn't say to an emergency basis, but it's time to put the infrastructure and get it to where it needs to be.
Question for you: is it an emergency where there's people that turn their faucet on and they don't have water? Is that an emergency?
I would say if you cannot have any type of water, it is, yes, I would say that is an emergency. That's considered a health and safety hazard whenever you do not have potable water or clean that. Just in residential terms, dealing with appraisal and inspections, that's a health and safety hazard. Hey, that's what the human requires, and to clean. Now, are there other ways? Yes, we can get inventive, especially if it's snowing, people are melting their water. You can get water.
But this is the what century? The 21st.
Yeah, we're in one of these centuries, and you would think that we don't have flying cars, but we all should have running water in our house, and we should have the infrastructure necessary to be able to support and provide those necessities to us. And I believe we do have those. The concern is the capacity and the health of the overall infrastructure. When we do have these houses and these people coming in, if you want to call it growth, or we can just call it, multiplicity. I don't know.
No, we're calling it filling up the bucket. It's what we're doing. We're filling it up.
But it's real. Whatever it is, it's real.
It's coming. There's more people coming into this area.
Right.
Putting their cup under that fountain. Okay.
That's right.
Let's talk about this. You mentioned something about the numbers. Okay. I think we're dealing with fictitious numbers right now, Bo. It's in the city of Shelbyville. And I've talked to several people that have their finger on this pulse of what we really have here. Our official, probably this year, our official census count is probably in the 22 to 23,000 range, give or take, in the city limits of Shelbyville. But I have been told by several people that they feel like there's 7,500 to 8,000 more people that are not counted, that would put us well over 30,000 people. And when we are trying to manage with a fake number, it's hard to deal with the reality.
Yes. Well, I would say the numbers and reality don't match, because the increase in volume of just traffic that you've noticed over the last so many years, something doesn't go along with the numbers that I'm seeing. I feel like there's more of an influx, that I don't know if it's just people that they've missed, or people illegally coming in here.
Listen, man, I'll tell you exactly what it is.
What's that?
They're not counted because they're not legal.
Yeah, I think
their name changes every day, a lot of them.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And that's problematic, because it is a symptom of a unguarded and open border. That's what it is. That
is the system, and that's where it hits home to you. Now, not necessarily that these immigrants are bad people, but the majority of them, more than likely, the reason why they didn't come over legally in the first place is because they might have criminal records.
A lot of them are coming in here they're sponsored by the cartel.
But yes, they are. But a problem with that is these, we need to be able to speed up a little bit, because sometimes they're having to wait for 2 years. Good, hardworking people coming in. Now, they do need to be vetted right, but there is a lot. They could cut down some time, because there are people that come the right way, and we want all. We're America. We're the home of the free and the land of opportunity.
All right, we got.
But we do have laws. We
got two comments here. Donna Smith. Has TDEC responded to the maximum daily withdrawal from the river? And that's absolutely no.
No, they
have not. It could take them 2 years, Donna. You got to understand, we're dealing with government here. They work at the speed of smell.
I was at the water meeting. It's probably a month. It was December's water meeting, and they did discuss that issue. They said that they weren't too worried at the moment, but they did not foresee any time an answer would come. The way the way I understood it is that the people that came up with this number really didn't know what they were doing. They kind of pulled it out of the air, so that they're going back, and it's kind of like an appeal and getting on the same, but there's no definite answer.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Chuck Heflin, with the majority of growth coming from the north of Bedford County, what is your opinion of imposing an impact fee on new construction within the county government? an impact fee, a new construction within the county government. So you're saying a county impact fee, and as a follow up, should it involve Bell Buckle as well? Well, Bell Buckle is in the county, even though that they have their own jurisdiction there. I think an impact fee needs to be assessed to any kind of new development. I think new development right now needs to be evaluated very closely as to what type of development it is. We've got all this high density stuff coming in. And Chuck, I would follow up to this. It's not coming just from the north. What we were just talking about is coming from all directions that's not counted. Okay, you're talking about somebody coming in and maybe developing a subdivision or something, which is a separate topic. Mm-hmm. As far as being able to collect a fee. But what is your thought about that?
I think that it's always fair game when we're all playing the game together to pitch in. Now, I'm not for raising tax or anything, but that right there is the user paying the fee. It's a pay-to-play type scenario. But here's what I have a problem when the county, a concern with, if the county collecting those monies, they need to be, labeled and have earmarks on each where this money is coming from. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a good way to get more off the top from people moving into Bedford County. Hey, we're already cheaper to live here.
What is the impact fee right now in the city of Shelbyville?
$100 maybe. I'm not sure what that is.
I should know what that is
per square. No, I'm not sure. I'll have to get back with you on that. I don't want to say what it is.
I know that there is one.
There is one.
What about the county impact fee?
I'm not sure about the county impact.
I don't think we have.
There may not be one. It's an incentive for people to come build here, is what it is. But now that when you have more builders, more people coming here with the land prices being lower, then I think it's time. And Chuck, you're right. I think it's a good idea to go on and implement that. But you have to have a lot. The dollars in the right places.
There is a county impact fee, because I remember this coming up at a commission meeting a couple of years ago. I don't know what it is. Maybe somebody out there might know. If you do know what the impact fee is, please post it here so that we can talk about it more knowledgeable. But Bo, here's another question to think about. If you've got all this dense population coming in, the dense development, we've talked about the PUDs. We've had controversy, we've had discussion, we've had debate, we've had delays, we've had all types of things. How do you even talk about adding one more faucet to the current infrastructure, specifically the water?
It makes my stomach hurt to even see how many proposals come, and knowing what the situation of our infrastructure is. Not only the lack of adequate, supply to get it to the consumers, is the age of a lot of the main infrastructure, and it's concerning. Now they're always improving and doing things, but there needs to be a whole lot of money spent, and it needs to be spent and overhauled in the biggest way. But my opinion on it is that that there should, without infrastructure, without more water, without more ways that we can provide these, without these services, without having to have people without it, is they need to limit what they're developing right now, or they have to grow the infrastructure right now, tomorrow, yesterday. That's what they need to do.
Okay,
but it's easy for me to say need to do that. I know these things don't happen. I would hope that things are in play right now that have these moves made very soon, because it's coming. It's here. There's a lot already approved in the city of Shelbyville that hasn't even been built yet. I know around the 437 Fairfield Pike, there's about 750 in a mile radius, 750 residential houses to be built. There's a few that are coming up, but
okay,
we have to have
Chuck's coming in there. Josh comes in there also. County adequate facilities tax, $1 per conditioned square feet of living space. All these funds are used by Bedford County government to pay for debt on Bedford County schools or for the construction of new schools. Mm-hmm. And then Chuck says, I believe the county adds $1 per square feet.
That's right. I said 100, but
$1, $1. Well, that's 100. So that's close enough. Just a decimal.
That's how I do my math. Yeah.
All right. So those are legitimate. They're not overdoing it. But here's the question, Bo. How do you simultaneously add people onto the system and upgrade the system and improve and repair the system at the same time? It's possible to do.
It's almost like buying a house and living in it and remodeling it.
It's kind of like building an airplane while you're flying it.
Yeah, you're building a house while you're living in it. It's it's not the preferred way to do, but when you're given what you got, you make what you need to make. That's the way I look at it.
Okay, let me ask you this.
It needs to happen. And
now,
bottom line,
this is a question that I've thrown out there, and everybody says, "Oh, we got to grow. We got to grow. We need more rooftops." Because if we don't get that, we're not going to get the businesses that we want. Well, I look at the growth for the last 5 years, and it's exploding. All you got to do is drive up and down Madison Street or North Main and just look at the traffic flow compared to the way it was, let's say, 7 or 8 years ago. It's big time different. That gets back to what I was talking about earlier. We've got people living here that's not even counted. Nobody debated. That's just the way it is. That comes from a lot of people that know. That's a fact. All right. How do you handle that load, not only on our infrastructure in the city, but also on our school system countywide? I mean, our city schools, we're filling these things up faster than we can build them now.
Well, it comes down to a law and order aspect. If you're legal immigration and you've come into the country illegally, we're a nation of laws, and we should adhere to these laws, and we should send them back to their country until they are vetted, until they get their legal way to come in. I think if I went to Germany or any other place like that, I would be booted out pretty quick, if I didn't have the proper identification. So I would say, first of all, that the police, I'm not dogging our police, but the national conversation on this, ICE, it needs to be stopped at the border here.
This gets down to a policy issue, yes. And we're going to have this coming up during the election. That's at the top of the presidential primaries right now. Trump wants to close the border. Biden wants to leave it open. Yeah. That's the bottom line. You got the standoff with Texas. You got the truckers headed down there to take a stand. You got all this stuff going on, and everybody thinks that's happening over there. But let me tell you, it's happening on Madison Street and North Main Street in the city of Shelbyville, and it filters into this county.
This is where it happens. And you look, when we get the jail intake reports, there's some that are unknown. And that means that they are unknown. They are in here illegally. And I think that on a national level, the law and order, that discussion, there has to be action taken. I mean, if I have a property and I put a fence around it, I can have a little gate where I can allow people to come in, but I don't want people coming in every which way. I like to put it on those simple level. We need a border to keep out the undesirable and the people that want to run drugs and have.
Okay, we're getting hammered right here with a lot of questions and comments. Okay, let's back up here. We need to listen to this more here. We got state currently does not allow new impact fees by cities. Would require approval from state legislature to implement. Well, okay, in that case, you just got to put a moratorium. Yeah. You just got to say we can't do anything else until we get an impact
and then you put it on the state,
and then let the state approve it. But we got to stop. We got to slow this down. I'm not saying we got to stop it. We need right. a certain amount of new blood. Okay, there's no question about that. We do. All right. But it's got to be the right way, the right kind.
Yeah. I mean, right. And when I was on the Plan Commission, we're presented with, these subdividers, they have rights. These people come with these proposals, and when there's nothing in place to tie the hands, to limit that, then it's just going to keep growing.
All right, we got Tim Baker. How have other Middle Tennessee counties handled this growth? It's pretty much the entire region. I think we're in the same boat together. I think they're dealing with it just like we are.
Well, they are. Some of them that plan for it, and some of them
We're getting hammered here. How many? Okay. We got Laura Blake. Democrats need voters. That's why there's such a wide open border. Okay, got you there. That's true. All right, Emily, I have a question about the new duck sign We're going all over the place here. The duck sign Electra America Incorporated. If there was an emergency or leak, what is the evacuation plan? There's the airport, Uncle Nearest, many more nearby. That's a good question. We don't even know what the threat is other than what's on the permit, which we have done an evaluation of that and posted it. There's 15 different hazardous chemicals, which are all electrolytes, which have a burn factor. There's some of them considered very, very hazardous. The way I understand it, they're going to store them in tanks. If there were a leak,
it would shut down the area for a year, for months. It would totally shut down that area, I would assume.
All right. Let's see.
I would hope that didn't happen.
We've got a whole bunch here. Chuck Heflin, I'm wondering if the immigrant buses from Texas are stopping in Nashville and filtering to Bedford County. I think probably a little bit, but I think for the most part,
the natural route.
When people are those folks, the good folks that are in the crowd, they're not going to cause trouble. They want to get to a smaller area, a rural area.
They do.
But we, unfortunately, with the infiltration of drugs to every level, big cities, small cities, rural areas, drugs is everywhere.
Yes.
The cartel needs their fingers everywhere, and they're getting here too. So,
not to mention human trafficking.
I feel like buses are minor, but I think people are just showing up. And I'm gonna tell you a story that happened today, Bo. I have a lady that works here. She's an employee. She got hit by an undocumented illegal alien. Okay, illegal alien. I don't know how else to say it. It's an illegal alien hit her. He had a driver's license and he had an insurance card. I don't know how he got a driver's license or insurance card. She wanted to get the insurance information and call the police. When she called the police, the guy took off. You know why? Because that was a fake driver's license and probably fake insurance.
He was probably a criminal. He's probably, who knows what he was wanted for.
Had the police got here, they would have took down his information, did a police report. He would have flew. He would be in the next county, or he would be in another state tomorrow. Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, this is more than just about occupying space. We're talking about dominating the services. Insurance companies are going to suffer. Private citizens are going to suffer when all this stuff is happening, and it all gets down to an open border.
And we're sitting here watching it happen because the people, our representatives here in the country and the leadership are just letting it happen. And they're making the ICE officers are being more of a coach and holding hands for all of these that they're having. They're not able to enforce the law. It's sad. It's such a bad, and it's happening. That example, it's here. It's in Bedford County too. It affects.
All you got to do is watch our jail intake.
Yes.
How many? No license. No. Every one of them. No license.
60 to 70%.
Well, I think that all this is a strain on our system, Bo.
It is.
And who's paying for it?
Me, you, and all of you out there.
All right, guys. Sorry to get on that soapbox, but I think it's a real problem.
It's important. We need to talk about it. We need to solve it. I mean, we can't do it, but we can vote. We do have a vote, and we pray to God that hadn't been taken hold of.
I don't trust that.
I don't either. But I think the American the true American person around here doesn't either. I think we've lost our confidence in that too. But let's not give up. We've still got a country here, and we're fighting for it, and we keep it the way we want. Emily,
I got to answer for your question. Did the pothole in Unionville claim a lot of tires last week? I think it took in a lot of people. I think the people just vanished when they drove over the pothole.
It's being investigated as we speak.
Yeah,
but it was a bad hole, and it would have jumped up on you.
Well, here's the thing about it: they really can't do anything about it until it dries out just a little bit, and until the weather gets a little bit better. But I think if they could just throw a little something in it, it'll help. I'm sure they got it on the number. I think they got it on the board if it hadn't already.
They have. They've been putting stuff over it. It's been going out, but they've been putting it right back on.
Okay, what part does Tyson play with illegals? I think just a minor. I think here's the thing.
It was the gateway. I think when that became the border became more open in the early in the 90s.
Well, I think
that was kind of the magnet.
One of them.
It was one of the magnets.
Honestly, I tell you what the magnet is. The lack of work, of people working. Okay, you threw out a number to me, a 3.5 unemployment rate in Bedford County.
Right, wherever that came from.
That's a joke. The same thing. That's a joke.
Is that 3% at 3.5?
Let me tell you something. You drive up and down Madison Street at 1 o'clock or Union Street at 1 o'clock. I can tell you half the people in this county are not working.
That's exactly.
Okay. That's 50%, not 3.4.
Don't believe the numbers, y'all. Okay. I mean, what are these 3 point? What is this number?
All right, Donna Smith. I commend Eric Maddox for the Drug Enforcement Task Force. Anything helps. All right. Absolutely.
For sure.
And I think one of the things that has to be addressed about that is that everybody's going to have to work together.
That's what he's trying to do.
You got Dr. Garrett with the school system. She's going to get involved. You got pastors getting involved. You got sheriff's department, police department, mayors. Everybody's going to come together and work on. There's not a clear-cut solution to this. No. It's going to have to be a whole lot of ideas, and I think more awareness brought to things. And parents are going to have to start teaching their children that drugs are going to kill you if you get into it.
Hey, I commend Eric Maddox too. That is it's an action. There, it's something.
Okay.
And
All right,
I'm
Emily.
glad we have
Emily,
talked
how
about
can
that.
we get more info on the drug task force efforts? Well, the drug task force is dealt with by the state of Tennessee, and we have a 17th Judicial Task Force that's incorporated, and it's actually based here in Bedford County. Now, the coalition, that's just being put together. That's going to take a little while
And
to
another thing,
evolve.
our 17th Judicial Task Force, which is the law, they kind of do the drug cases. They also cover Marshall County and maybe Moore County. They don't have that many people. So I mean, that's another issue.
All right, Andy Gibson, when is Commissioner Vick going to come on the show? I don't think he would admit that this show even exists.
Yep,
he wouldn't. He probably don't even. But
we
anyway,
would welcome Mr. Vick.
Yeah, anytime. Okay. I don't on the 17th District Drug Task Force. I begged them to come look at a problem, and they refuse. Oh, it's probably one of these things where they get so many reports about stuff. It's like playing whack-a-mole. If it's a major problem, they got stuff that's just right up in their face, and they've got more to deal with right there than they can't even get to.
But then again, if somebody's got a complaint or something, they ought to investigate it good enough. And I would hope that they're keeping an eye on your concerns. And only advice I would give you would be to stay on them and to keep calling them if it's a concern that you're seeing, and maybe eventually they'll pay attention.
Okay, drugs are the least of our problems in this county. Sorry to say, but it's true. Okay, Laura, what is our biggest problem in the county that you see? We'd like to talk about that, but it is a terrible problem. I see it every day.
But it seems like it affects if you want to say homeless is our biggest, well, that's part of drugs. Not all, but that's all drugs. If you want to say domestic issues, that's part of drugs. Not always, but most of the time there's alcohol or drugs involved. If you want to say, violence, that's sometimes with drugs, and most of the time there's some sort of alcohol involved. So I would say that even in our world, it's probably one of the biggest
Tim
problem.
Baker also brings up talking about the discussion about water or electricity or any essential service would give a better idea of the actual number of living bodies in the county. You're never going to get that because it's fictitious number, just like our unemployment rate.
I don't know how you would. People hide. People don't want to be counted.
You drive up and down some of these neighborhoods, and there's 5-6 cars sitting in a driveway, and there's 3 people living there. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
6 cars and 3 people? Do the math.
Yeah, I don't know. Right. Yeah. That'd be a hard job.
It's another subject, but I think our biggest problem may be that people are not voting and the same people are getting in there. We have a lot of problems, Emily, and that is a big problem. We have a degree of apathy taking place, and I talk to people all the time and say, you need to go vote. What difference does it make? They're going to do what they want to do. That's true as long as you don't vote.
That's the losing attitude.
It's the they. The they is what has to change.
Yeah, there's what, they usually turn out of 4,000, and we've got 30,000 voters that are registered here. Come on. Wake up the vote.
Jonathan Spence comes in. It literally leads to 75 to 80% of the other problems. He's talking about the drug problem.
Amen.
Okay, Jonathan, people complain about the leadership, but do not try to change it.
That's right.
That's the problem.
And
honestly, Jonathan, I want to address this. And it's a mindset that the general public's got in that these people are leaders. Leaders are everywhere. Okay? Leaders are in our population. These people don't need to be leaders. They need to be listeners. Okay,
I 100% agree. They're representatives that represent, and it's hard to find a good representative, but a true representative goes listens to the constituents and is the voice of those constituents, and is not in his own little club and doing what he wants to do there. I would say that if more people got involved on on a monthly basis, going to meetings, to keep their tabs on every little thing, even the most boring. I've sat through some boring meetings, some slow meetings, some long meetings, but I'm there, and I feel like and even if you can't get there, you can watch them online. And I would say just get involved and just keep asking questions.
All right. Laura Blake, everything starts from the ground up. I'm more worried about ancient infrastructure such as underground pipes supplying our water. This county worries about cosmetic stuff before the important things. You hit the nail on the head, Laura. You're absolutely right.
Yes, and we talked about that.
If we don't have running water and stability in our infrastructure, a lot of things fall apart.
Life and water are 2 words that kind of coexist together.
All right, Jonathan Spence, people complain about the leadership, but do not try to change it. It's a gut check time. All right, guys. It's not, and I think Jonathan's hitting on not only voting, that's a start, but they also need to voice concerns. How can the officials know there is an issue if someone isn't telling them?
That's right.
Here's a problem.
They just won't talk about it.
Jonathan, you do have to have somebody that listens. and not worried about keeping the good old boy system intact. That's the 90% of the stuff that's taking place right now at the local level. Now, I'm not saying everybody,
No.
but the biggest part, the ones that have the biggest mouths and the biggest voice and the biggest influence are worried about keeping the good old boy network together rather than addressing the needs of its citizens.
Yeah, and a lot of times, unfortunately, they'll think that your concerns are just not worthy of their time, even though they're so much of concern to you. They don't take each and every one to heart, and I'm not saying all of them, but there's some of them. This is in county, city, everywhere, government. But it takes us to keep being on them. You will find out that if you ask good questions, that you'll get a lot of times you'll get the eye. Because asking questions that make sense are sometimes taboo in government.
Well, I'll say this too. I'm tired of the attitude of we know more than you do. Yeah. You're stupid. Well, I'll just tell you something. In April, when we had that tax vote, the courthouse was full. There were the smartest people in the room were sitting in the audience.
Yes,
not sitting up there in those chairs. Now there's some smart people sitting up in those chairs, but the smartest ones in the room were sitting in the audience.
And they are the employers of those that are serving. The people are the employers. They are the employees, and we need to address them like that in a respectful situation. I mean, they're human beings, and if
it's not personal.
No, it's not
personal. It's just like this.
That's right, and that gets confused too. It's nothing personal. This is all policy based, the welfare of our overall county. And the care for it, and disagreeing over certain policies and ways of thought. It's nothing personal, and anybody that tries to get it twisted is wrong. This is just a genuine concern, and there will be differences. There will be questions, and that's just part of it.
Well, now some people want to make it personal. They do. They really do.
They do.
And I saw that take place in the meeting the other night.
Yeah.
When Eric Maddox was trying to present his drug coalition, trying to talk about just making a courtesy call, and he gets barraged by a fellow commissioner, and questioned. Mm-hmm. It was like a personal attack, that's just no good.
It wasn't good to hear. It was bad to hear. And
Andy Gibson, that's exactly you repeated me. Eric Maddox, David and Bo, I appreciate this show, especially people voicing. I can't see all of that. Voicing their comments. That's what it's all about. Yes, together, we can make a positive difference. May God bless Bedford County. Thank you, Eric, for coming in. Well put. And it's going to take an army.
It is. It's going to take an army and an army of just of people that love their county. And we're not talking militant here. We're talking an army of united citizens that love our county and know what's right for it. And we're all going to have different thoughts, but we've got one common goal, and that's to make a healthier Bedford County, a more safe Bedford County. And we have to stand up sometimes. We have to stand up to things, and not everybody's going to stand up. And you've got to be willing to step out and get knocked down a few times before you can stand up and be ready and to take those shots. But you have to know that what your cause is a cause that's worthy of putting yourself out there for. And you're not going to win all the time, but you know that you can sleep good at night, because there's some bad things that are going on here, just like they are around the world, and things that aren't healthy for the long-term Bedford County. But we can sit here and talk about it, but we have to go to the source where it's done, and we have to be vocal, and we have to in a respectful. I want to make that clear, in a respectful, tasteful way. We've seen here in the last year, especially at the Tennessee legislature, an unprofessional, untasteful, very disrespectful way that representatives were acting, and not only the representatives but the constituents. And I would say that that's not what America needs to be and is, and it's really hard to see that. But we have to be respectful. And no matter what, even if we don't get our way, we have to continue to be respectful, but never give up and keep going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we have got a city election coming up this year.
Yes, we do.
There will be some council people voted on. And that's a very important election for the city. And then in 2026, we'll have our county election again. Right now, people need to start looking around at their friends that could be possibly a candidate.
Yeah, don't let it catch.
Okay.
Don't let it catch you off guard.
And Chuck brings this up. It's pretty simple. I think he meant if you're complaining about politicians. First of all, we don't need politicians. That's the last thing we need. That's we have a lot of that now. We just need people to represent us.
We need the working man. We need the working man out there.
Well, just people that really care about Bedford County and what the people are dealing with in reality. Not in the news, not in an establishment, but just in reality and on the main street.
Independent representative.
Guys, we have got, there's so many different ways we can go on this, but I want people just right now to start thinking about somebody that you know that might be a good candidate for a county commissioner, for a city council person, for mayor, for whatever.
In the district maps, I think they're on shovelnow.com. I don't know if we still have them
still
up.
there.
Check your district maps. Look around at each district and kind of think of people you might know in that area that might be good. It might be worth asking them.
Yeah,
never could hurt.
Absolutely.
A lot of times the best won't serve, but a lot of times the best do serve, and it never hurts to ask.
All right, Jonathan brings this up. Need to see what seats are up for grabs. Well, I think county commission, the entire thing's up for grabs. It's
all up for grabs now. In the city, I think it's staggered 1, 3. I'm not sure.
Yeah, 2, 4, and 6, and 1, 3, and 5, or something like that.
But the county will be up. The county in 2026. The county commission and the county executive, known as the county mayor, will be up, and it will be along with others. I think the Michelle Murray's, maybe a few other. All the county ones are up every 4 years. So right now is the time to look. And also, I would encourage you to go to the Election Commission website. They have all the dates out there. They're way ahead of the election. Get all the info you can there. Summer Leverett up there does a good job, so check that out.
Okay, Laura Brick brings something up, Bo, that you and I were talking about today and in days past. Other guys I've talked to that have a concern. Bedford County is on the cusp of serious permanent change. We can't afford to screw it up by only focusing on today and how much money they'll make. We need to plan for tomorrow. Yes, Laura, because there are forces right now working for tomorrow to take control of things.
Yep,
and they're not good forces.
No,
okay. We need to all work together to keep Bedford County what it has been in the past and what we want it to be in the future. And the only way to do that is for us to join forces together and commit to getting our friends and family to go vote for people that really care about Bedford County.
The commitment is a big word there. We have to commit. It's never easy, and it always takes sacrifice and commitment.
Okay, we have a nomination. I nominate Laura, Tim Baker. All right, Laura, I second that.
We got a second. All in favor signify.
Yeah. All right, Laura, go pick your papers up. Yes. You're in.
Summer's got your papers ready.
All right, but Bo, it's something that we'll continue talking about as this year progresses.
Yes, it needs to be
guys,
talked about.
Be thinking about what you want to talk about next week. It's time for us to get out of here, and once again, thank our sponsors: Lowry Jewelers, Norris Plumbing, and Dennis Young Insurance. And Emily, that's a $1 million question. What we have to do is one by one at a time, and it's going to take a large number of people. A lot larger than what's turning out right now.
We have to take it serious and not just talk about it. We have to be about it.
So think about what you want to talk about. And Laura Blake, we'll start getting your campaign put together.
Yes, we will.
All right.
We've got that
guys,
going on. Think about what you want to talk about. We want to hear from you.
Thanks for watching tonight, guys. And we want to thank our sponsors again. Lowry Jewelers, Dennis Young Insurance, and Norris Plumbing. Thank you, guys. And you guys have a good night. We'll be back the same time next week. Be ready to chat.
You bet.